What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 6. So, listen, I hate when these shows make me agree with people that I don't be wanting to agree with, okay? And this happened a couple of times this episode that they had me agreeing with people that I don't really be wanting to agree with. So, first of all, we picked this episode up. We still have Karen and Giselle arguing at the lunch table. Now, listen. Karen, you was putting 20 on 10. Now, I love you, Karen, and you know I am team Karen when it comes to the situation between you and Giselle, okay? I am team Karen. But in this one, girl, you was putting 20 on 10. You was putting 20 on 10. You was putting 20 on 10. That woman did not wish death on you and your husband, okay? But Candace ended up being the voice of reason in the whole situation and said, first of all of y'all are grown. So I'm gonna need y'all to act accordingly. She said, Karen, you have said some nasty shit about Giselle. Giselle, you have said some nasty stuff about Karen, and y'all need to figure it out. She also said nothing gets solved in the group. So at some point during this time that we are together, I'm gonna need y'all to find some time to sit down and talk one-on-one and either work it out or agree to walk away, but stop being so catty. I said, you know what? That damn Candace, I gotta give credit where credit is due. She was right on that one. Now, after lunch, Candace had to take the other ladies down to the cottage where they stand. They stand down to the cottage. Now, it looks like the cottage is closer to the water, so they have a water view. But it is just that. It's a cottage. It probably originally, at one point in time, listen, we are in Williamsburg. Let's be clear. We are in Williamsburg, okay? Those probably was some slave. No, they wasn't. Let me stop. I'm not even gonna make no joke about it. But it did look like whoever originally lived in that home, it did look like those were the servants' quarters, or maybe the guest house when they had family come and visit. Remember last year when they was down at Monique's lake house and Monique had the guest house on the other side of the property? You see what I'm saying? Something like that. It looked like a nice little 2, maybe 3-bedroom house. Okay. Now Wendy, Kern, and I really hate that I be saying that woman name wrong, but y'all know who y'all know who I mean. Y'all know my heart. Um, they're down at the guest house. Now, of course, they had to do this whole montage showing the house, the big house versus the cottage. They had to show Karen and them struggling to carry the luggage up the steps versus at the big house they had a whole someone assist them carry their luggage to their room. You know, they had to go on to be shady and just totally amplify the differences of up and down, left and right. A scholar said that that the big house is like 5-star, and they're like, she said we're a good solid 3. I said okay. We had this whole thing with Ashley and Michael doing photos and showing Michael being all domesticated and stuff, changing diapers and stuff, and they dressed alike, him and Dean, and they taking baby pictures and all that good stuff. And then at the end of all that, she tells him, yeah, you know, I got invited to go down to Williamsburg. You know, I'm not going to go for the whole weekend, but I think I'll go for the day. And Michael was like, okay. She said, well, you know, Dean will be with the nanny, but what are we going to do with the new baby? What's the baby name? Noah? I don't know the baby name. And Michael was like, well, I'll take him to work. She was like, oh my gosh, are you sure you're going to take him to work, babe? He was like, yeah, I'll take him to work. Yeah. He said, listen, I got an office full of women that will help me take care of that baby. And I'm thinking, I bet you do. Oh, I bet you do. So the ladies are getting ready for dinner. And Wendy has on, she says Versace. I think it's Versace. It is like a bra, a bustier bra with some leather pants and like a sheer top. Listen, that outfit would have been appropriate in one size larger and if they was going to the club. I wouldn't have even had a problem with that outfit if they was going to the club. But y'all was going to dinner. Dinner. Now let's be clear. I know that I said, because listen, I said the same thing that Giselle said. I done seen more of Wendy's boobs in these 6 episodes than I saw all last season. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad at her for wanting to show off the boobs. I'm not mad at her for wanting to show off the new body. But It's a lot, Wendy. Now, I'm not going to shame you for it. See, I agree with Karen to a certain I mean with Giselle to a certain extent. I don't agree with Giselle all the way she went with this, but I agree with Giselle to a point. And the point is you are doing a lot. Again, I ain't mad at you for having this new body. I ain't mad at you for showing your new body off, but there is a point where it's like, girl, you're doing a lot right now. You're doing a lot. And so Robin and Giselle end up having this whole conversation about it. Now, in this conversation, I feel like just like Karen was putting 20 on 10, Giselle, you was putting 20 on 10, because now we got this whole conversation about um, you talking about, what's really going on with Wendy. I mean, is she doing all of this to try to camouflage something? I mean, is Wendy going through something? I mean, I just want to make sure she's okay. I mean, what's really going on? I mean, is she okay? I mean, really, is she okay though? I mean, what's really going on? So they're upstairs talking when Wendy, Karen, and the other young lady show up to the house to get ready, for them to all go to dinner together. And so Wendy ends up going upstairs and she walks in on Karen and Giselle having this conversation. Now, mind you, I mean, damn it, I keep saying Karen. Giselle and Robin having this conversation. Now, mind you, Giselle, of course, has to take every opportunity to bring up, well, there are rumors about her and Eddie. There are rumors about her and Eddie. There are rumors about her and Eddie. And Robin was like, yeah, I don't really believe those. And Giselle was kind of like, okay. Okay. And then she said, Robin says, I mean, I just don't know if she was this Wendy last year. I just don't know if we would have hit it off. Oh, so now you couldn't have been her friend? You couldn't have been her friend last year? Now like, what are y'all saying? Like, she's still who she is, so you couldn't have been her friend last year if she had the boobs? So then, like I said, Wendy ends up walking in, and Wendy said, hey, what's going on? Did I walk in on anything? Oh, no, we just chit-chatting. No, we just shooting the breeze. See, that was the time to have that conversation. If that's really your friend and y'all was really so concerned about her, that's the time to say, yo, Wendy, can we talk to you for a few minutes before we go to dinner? We have been observing, and we are all happy that you got your happy and nest. We glad that you paid a lot of money for that body. By all means, show it off. But we are sort of feeling some kind of way, and we, as your friends, are concerned. Is there more to this story? Is there more going on? Are you compensating for something, honey? Let's talk about it. You see what I'm saying? That was the time to have the conversation, because she straight up, at least the way it was edited, walked in while y'all were having that whole conversation. That was the perfect time to say, girl, sit down, let's talk. If that was really your friend. If that was really your friend. And if it was really concerned. If it was really concerned. Okay? So anyway, they go to dinner. And they at the restaurant and stuff. And here we go. First, we got to have a conversation about Candace and the fact that Chris is her manager. And here goes Giselle questioning her. Well, I mean, do you think Chris is going to be motivated to do anything else if he just stays your manager? I mean, what else is he doing? I mean, is he just living off of you? I mean, what's going on? And so now we got this whole conversation about, is Chris using Candace? Is this about more than, and Candace was like, and I feel like Candace, I got to give Candace credit. She kept her cool, because I feel like her eyes was cussing Giselle out, but her mouth didn't do it. Her mouth was just kind of like, no, we good. And I do know my husband, and I trust my husband, and our arrangement is working for us. It's really great. He's there for me to motivate me, to push me, to keep me in line, to keep me in check. It's good. We good. We're good. Right? So then I want to remember, was the conversation with Wendy before the conversation with Robin before? It don't matter, shit. It all happened. But I think the conversation with Wendy might have been next. So here go Giselle and Robin coming for Wendy. Again, the same thing they could have said to her in the privacy of their suite that they kicked Mia out of. They could have had that conversation with her. But here they go. They got to do it at the table in front of everybody, talking about her boob job, talking about how she's been prancing around, and how, disrespectful they feel it is, and how is she a professor dressing the way she's dressing and doing the things that she's doing. And they were like, Wendy was like, I'm still a professor. Like, I'm still doing political commentary. I'm still a professor at one of the most prestigious colleges in this country. I still have 4 degrees. That doesn't change anything about me, because I choose to be, lean into my sexy, and I choose to be a little more risque with my clothing choices. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't make me less substantive of a person. And Robin even used that sentence. Well, I mean, it just seems like you lack substance. And she was like, but I'm the same person. So then, they were like, well, are you overcompensating for something? I mean, are you trying to cover something up? I mean, it just seems, the Wendy from last year wouldn't have dressed like this. The Wendy from last year wouldn't have done that. The Wendy from last year wouldn't have done this. And actually, this was after Robin's conversation. I'm sorry, I'll double back to Robin. But Wendy was just like, I mean, had to get them together, because again, as an educator, I've said this before, and I have to say it again. It's frustrating when people act like we don't have a life and we're not real people. You have teachers that want to be risque in their dress. You have teachers that are conservative in their dress. It doesn't change the fact that they're good teachers. Now, I'm pretty certain that Wendy would not have shown up to class in that outfit. But what Wendy chooses to do in her free time on her own when she's not in front of her students is her business. Again, I thought the outfit was a little too small. Let me be clear. I think she should have got it in a bigger size. But it doesn't make her any less effective of an educator because she is wearing risky clothes. And again, it pisses me off because it's like, oh, so everybody else can do what they want to do, wear what they want to wear, dress how they want to dress. But an educator got to be like this. Or that makes them a bad person. Or that is some sort of reflection on their intelligence or on their work ethic or on the fact that they're good at their job. You know what I'm saying? And so I understood where Wendy was coming from in that moment. And I did think that, Tweedledee and Tweedledum was taking it too far and was really putting 20 on 10 and taking it to a level that it just didn't need to go to. Again, Wendy, show them boobs off. Do what you want to do with your boobs, okay? It is what it is. Now, again, I did make the comment that I done seen her boobs more than she done talked about them degrees. But I'm not shaming her for it. I'm just tired of seeing it. I shouldn't say I'm tired of seeing it, because honestly, this was the first time that I was like, okay, girl, it didn't fit, So let me double back, because before they did that, they did have the conversation with Robin first. And Robin was talking about being unmotivated, and she was telling them about being in bed and, sleeping all day, even though she knows she had stuff to do. And, and talking about how Juan, he ain't cool with it. And here go Giselle. Well, do you think that's why Juan hasn't, walked down the aisles? And you think that's why Juan, why you guys haven't gotten married yet? And Robin was like, I don't think that's it. But, I do know I need to get it together. I need to get it together. And Giselle told me something. Robin, that's too much. Robin, that's a bit much. You need to do better, Robin. That's not acceptable. That's unacceptable. And so then somebody asked her, well, do you think that's affected your motherhood? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. She was like, my son has a 43 in English right now. So let me say this. Let me pause. Let me put a pin in that. And again, I think I said the same thing last week. The pandemic hit people hard. Again, as an educator, I have seen students that went from honor roll kids to barely passing to some not passing at all. And again, it wasn't always about the parents, because there were parents who were getting up with their kids, who were working with their kids, who were damn near logging their kids in. But at the end of the day, I don't think people are being fair about how hard this pandemic was on everybody, including kids. If it affected adults, come on, what do you guys think it did to our kids? And so her kids may not be doing well in school, partially because of her, but partially because of them and their motivation and what they're going through and how they're processing this. It was hard for kids. Robin, again, I don't be giving Robin a lot because Robin really gets on my nerves. But on this one, I just feel like Robin was dealing with depression. And I can appreciate that a scholar. I can appreciate that a scholar said, listen, I've dealt with depression, and from what you're saying, it sounds like that's what you're dealing with. It sounds like this is depression, and that's better. That's bigger than Robin, just get out the bed. Just get out the bed, Robin. Because I feel like if she could just get out the bed, she would just get out the bed. And I've said that from the very beginning, that I felt like that Robin was really dealing with some depression. I said that from the beginning. At the end of the day, Robin said that she thinks that she may deal with seasonal depression, which is a thing. I have that in my family, where one of the kids in my family deal with seasonal depression. It happens at certain times. It does not happen, it's not and so Robin said, well, we're moving into, spring, so I should be okay now. And so somebody even asked, they said, well, Robin, is this something that happens all the time? And she said, yeah, this is something that I've dealt with. So again, this isn't new. But again, I think the pandemic may have exacerbated what Robin normally deals with. So, again, y'all know I don't give Robin a lot, but on this one, I kind of gonna give her a little something on it. So then after all of that, after Giselle done went around the table and questioned everybody about their whole situation, Oscar decides, I hope I'm saying her name right, decides to ask Giselle about Jamal. Oh, Giselle said, I'm not speaking on that. I'm not going to speak on that. I'm not speaking on that in front of the trolls. I'm not speaking on that in front of the trolls. Oh, so now you can't talk about nothing, but you went around this whole room and asked everybody in this room all of their business, but now you don't have nothing to say. Now you don't have nothing to talk about. Girl, bye. So the next morning, we see Candace working on her choreography, and Mia checking the emails, talking to her husband. And Wendy and Karen sit down to have a conversation. And Karen asked Wendy, how you doing, how you feeling about, because Karen knew how that whole situation went down last night. And they were getting ready to go swimming because they're going to do water aerobics. Karen said, this wig got to last me until I go do my swearing in. So I won't be getting in the water dealing with Lucifer. She be calling, Giselle Lucifer, child. She said, so no, I won't be doing that. And she asked Wendy, and this is where I was like, damn, Wendy actually was hurt. And she told her, she said, listen, I know you didn't, where's your bathing suit? I know you're not going to not wear your bathing suit because of what those ladies said about you. You better wear it. You better wear it proud. You better show that body off. It is yours. Don't let nobody shame you. And Wendy was hurt. She said, she was really hurt by what was said. And, she didn't even understand where it was coming from. And to question whether, she's the same person, or to question now whether she has any substance, she said it was really hurtful to her. And I definitely understand that. And then Karen said, listen, don't you give them that. She said, if you need to cry, you cry here. You cry here, you cry now. But don't you give her that. I said, I know that's right, Karen. Never let them see you sweat, baby. So anyway, that's it. That's all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.